Yanosafiba. Today, alongside the product introduction, I'm thinking of showing you, well, how it actually looks when it's attached. As for what I'll be showing you, well, as you can see from the car, it's a Code 15 car. And right now, as for the bottom part, I've already taken the bumper off, and on top of that, well, I've also removed all the parts that were originally attached here too. So I'll be explaining from this state. Regarding the bumper removal video, I've actually filmed that before, so if you wouldn't mind, please refer to that one instead. So, well, from this current state, I think I'll just explain the product and show you how it looks once it's attached. Well, the car itself was built as a demo model, so there are definitely a few key areas that differ from the factory original. To start with, well, as you saw last time, normally this area is chiffon ivory, but since it actually shows quite a bit, I've gone ahead and blacked it out. The whole thing. With the Code 15, there's nothing attached underneath, so if it were chiffon, it wouldn't look great. So I've gone ahead and made it black. Now, the actual mounting point is just here where the silver bolts are. These are the threaded holes you'll need for installation, these screw holes here. And sorry, these screws are also slightly different from the ones originally attached. Well, I thought it'd be easier to see, so that's partly why I put these screws in. In practice, we use these 4 spots here, this, and here, to attach the product. Anyway, I have gone ahead and prepared the product here, so it is structured like this. First is the main front section, the front side, and it's actually a 3-piece structure. Onto this, the sides will attach on both ends like this. And also, since there's nowhere left to mount your number plate, the product actually includes a number plate bracket too. And then the mounting bolts and such, like this. Well, it means there are quite a lot of similar parts attached here, I suppose. The mounting bolts are attached just like this. And, well, regarding the tools for installation, since the bumper is actually already off, to attach this, you really don't need to use any kind of special tools. Well, ideally a 10mm. Finally, you will need a screwdriver. Everything uses Phillips head screws, so a screwdriver is definitely required. And then to hold it from the back, a 10mm. You can use a spanner for this, or a ring spanner if you prefer. And also, it'd be ideal if you had some masking tape or similar to ensure you don't scratch the grille, you know. So the main body itself has 4 protruding parts here on the back. These sections will be fixed to the chassis side. Well, they all attach right here, in the exact same positions as the silver screws I mentioned earlier, where we removed them. Now, to attach these, we'll be using these Phillips head screws. The Phillips screws go in from the back like this, and so from the front, like this, we tighten the screws like this. And when you go to insert this, it gets into a really tight spot. Since it ends up completely around the back, it is actually quite fiddly to install. And honestly, I wanted to film the installation process too, but no matter how many times I tried, I couldn't do it smartly or nicely. So this time it's just an explanation of the product, showing how it attaches. Well, later on, I'm thinking of filming a proper installation video anyway. Right, so first off, we'll start with the main unit and attach it, the actual main body, onto the vehicle itself. Well, actually, these screws aren't out yet, but roughly like this, the main body goes on. Then do this screw, these screws. So from the front, it will route towards the vehicle side like this. However, it's a bit tight around here, so I think it'd be easier to attach if 2 people work on it together. Well, one spot is, well, probably fine for one person, but the other parts are a bit hard to put screws in unless you have someone hold it. I think that's the part that's when attaching it, a bit of a struggle? Well, in reality, when we attach it, since it's inevitably too tight for hands to fit here, we actually use super glue to fix these screws in place at the 4 spots. Then, while inserting them from the front, well, securing the screws so they don't drop out, we align it and tighten the 4 screws from the front. Well, I'm not actually attaching the main body this time, but, well, the main body attaches like this. Onto that, the side plates. Against the main body, the side plates attach like this. And regarding the side plates themselves, I imagine some customers might feel anxious with just 2 screws here, but this part, the bit that hits right around here, slides right into this gap here. Right here. Something like this. By slotting in here, even if you secure just the 2 here, this side slots in with a inserting feel. So once you tighten the screws, it's quite stable. And we secure this on both sides. Then just adjust the overall position and finally tighten the screws and it's done. The installation of the main body itself will be complete. And lastly now, on the lower side of the front surface of the main body, at the slight fold, there are 2 spots here, holes right here. Right in here, you secure this included number plate stay, like this, by tightening it here with the included nuts and bolts. Doing that to this part. And just like this, the part for the number plate will show up. After that, you just attach the number plate to this and finally check over the whole thing once more to ensure it's tightened and the work is finished. And just for now, since I haven't attached it this time, I'll stick a picture showing what it looks like attached right around here. Now, regarding the underside, I suppose you might be wondering what to fit there, but quite often people will go for an aftermarket skid plate or something like that. Some customers, you know, like to combine them with things like the skid plates we use for our short bumpers and so on. Or alternatively, some customers just leave it in this state and finish it off with a really rugged look. Well, for those who want it to look quite Spartan, and also, well, it matches really well with this grille. So when you fit this grille, adding that bumper face apron from earlier, well, it gives the front end a much more aggressive look than it had before. Well, driving towards you from the front, with these wide tyres fitted, it's an item that helps finish it off as an even more imposing car, I think. Well, for now, it's just a quick temporary fit. Or rather, I haven't actually installed it properly yet. But yeah, it's sort of like this. And the bumperless apron will attach like this. And we also have one more called a bumper apron. Well, a bumper apron is usually something that just covers the back when you have a steel bumper like this. Fitted, you know? And for that one too, the installation itself doesn't use these screws, but instead uses the holes here to secure both sides. And for the bumperless, well, the bumper apron setup, I think I'll introduce that in a separate video later on. One more thing, this is completely different, but well, a question I often get from customers is actually, what kind of tools do you use? I don't know why, but honestly, when you're doing this sort of work, Snap-on really is just, you know, something else entirely. Well, it sounds a bit odd to say I want to collect them, but I do. Actually buy them quite often. And, well, as for why we buy them, rather than buying them in a shop, it's what they call van sales, where the sales reps come round in, you know, these big vans. And then when you go to buy it, well, if you're in this industry or doing this kind of work, I think you'll probably already know about this. But there is a magical red notebook. Well, I've explained this briefly before, but using that notebook, well, even for expensive items, well, it effectively becomes like paying in installments. You pay a set amount whenever you happen to have the cash, and in that way, you can buy tools. So it's relatively pricey, like even this one probably costs 10,000 something or other, but in a shop, when the price gets to 20,000 or 30,000, it's hard to just fork it out instantly. But when the van sale comes round for something around 30,000 yen, well, to put it extremely, I don't know the exact reality, but it's like a pay-when-you-can sort of vibe, allowing you to buy the tools. So inevitably, your snap-on tools end up really multiplying. Well, increasing means a really large sum of money ends up going into that red notebook. Sometimes you haven't bought anything in ages, but you're just constantly paying off these amounts on the side, like 5,000 yen or 3,000 yen. It really stands out, and there are so many of those red, no, inside the notebook, there are some white square pages, and those pages just keep multiplying again and again. Plus, when you actually calculate it, you might have spent enough to buy something massive. So it's quite scary to tally it up. And another thing is that these sockets themselves, if you get, say, plating that's peeling off, or even if the socket ends up cracking, well, they're quite pricey, but they are guaranteed, so you can actually get them replaced with new ones, which is one of the real benefits of these tools. And also, if it isn't a major repair, they can often get things fixed for you quite quickly, which is, well, the reason why buying from the van sales, even if you pay a bit more money, there's definitely a clear benefit to choosing these tools. However, recently, since regular folks have been coming, I haven't really been able to meet the van sales rep, so right now I'm actually not really buying any snap-on tools. Well, it's just, there's a tool that caught my eye. A tool like this. Well, actually, when buying tools, or when I'm sort of browsing, for example, if I see something nice on Instagram, well, my way of buying is kind of going from Instagram to Amazon to get my hands on it. Recently, I've been slightly collecting them. It's weird to say collecting, but a tool I'm thinking of using for work is from a brand called Weira. It's quite stylish, and the shape looks cool. And also, this part packs in a lot of features. So, well, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know how much of a benefit it'll provide, but it's a tool that caught my interest. Well, I'm thinking of adding a few more of these from now on, and if you know anyone is interested, if you check them out in the shop, I think you'll find them quite nice. Well, it sort of turned into a tool introduction rather than a product one, but, well, I use tools like this for the installation. Well, if you're slightly curious about the tools, I can show you the ones I have. So, well, if you ever pop by the shop, just say something like, I'm curious about those tools, show me, and I can show them to you. And additionally, I'd be delighted if you came to buy our products too.